Hey, this is Elise. And earlier I was with you on today and I was speaking about, I think it was today. If not today, it might have been yesterday, speaking about this career development plan and the experiences that I had and putting it together and who I sent it out to. And there was one particular other establishment that I sent it to. And it happened to be my church at that time, World Changers Church. I put this career development plan together. I wrote a letter actually with it and sent a survey because I wanted to have the opportunity to explain it. Even if I could have done it in a PowerPoint or just to meet with somebody to talk about, some ideas about a career development plan right there, at the church, that would be very beneficial to, you know, those who attend and then maybe even to the community at large. So I submitted everything at the communications desk. And at that time, I think there was a pastor by the name of Tomlinson, Kirk, I think it was Tomlinson. And very nice, very nice. Loved his preaching and everything. And I didn't hear anything for a long time, nothing. And then I questioned, the next lead pastor because Pastor Tomlinson left. And I think he said to me that, somebody would get back to me or something or other, and that he might have known about it. And to date, nobody said anything. But the amazing thing is, there popped up this career development program. There popped up this, employment expedition. No, let me say that right. Well, yeah, this employment endeavor at the church, and I would have loved to have taken part in it and stuff like that, and I didn't. But I kind of looked at it and I said, well, you know what, church is the place. They say it's the answer to everything. So if someone sent in something, you know, as interesting or, you know, just to inquiring about something, why is it that there was never a response? But then you see these things popping up, something in Atlanta, where they had like this career development program or something that came on the air, and I can't remember what it was, but I saw it on Changing Your World, I think it was, or something else, and it was a Bishop Fuller. And I'm like, wow. So, okay. But these are the things that happen. These are the things that happen. So, I'm not exactly sure how it is that information goes from the community desk or communications desk to the other areas of the church, or how they get filtered through to whomever is supposed to look at them. But to not have a response in over 10 years is crazy. So, you know what I did? I tried something else. I actually wrote a couple of letters. And I sent one to Atlanta and I sent one to New York for something completely different. And I met this young lady that worked out in the Atlanta church. And I shared with her, I said, oh, well, I had written this letter because she was part of the broadcast team. And it had to do with broadcast, and possible, personality to come on to be interviewed or whatever. And I did it because it was true. But I wanted to see also who would respond. And she said to me, oh, well, don't worry. They'll get to you. They'll get around to it. Still haven't heard anything. And I don't understand, like, the whys behind that. What happens if you don't think somebody's credible? You just throw it in the garbage? I mean, I even tried sending a package. And this has to be told. Try sending a package And I put Pastor Taffy's name on it. And I put LRG or LERG, which is Lisa E. Reynolds Gill, or Lisa E. Reynolds Gill, right? And I did that, and my address and everything, and I called another member that I know for a lifetime in Atlanta. I mean, from New York, but she's now in Atlanta, to just let her know to look out, that I'm sending this package just to see how it was going to play out. So, and I let them know like 3 days in advance or 4 days in advance that this package was coming. I also called their executive assistant just to say, could you just be on the lookout for this package? And you should get it in a couple of days, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, thank you, da, da, da. Okay. So, a few days went, and okay, I didn't hear anything. And that's okay. So I called them. I said, did you receive the package? Oh, well, we don't know where, we don't even know if it was delivered. It may have went to a different department. I said, okay, no problem. But the names were clear. So why would it go to a different department if the names were clear on the package and it was a big package? So I called another day and I said, well, okay, do you now know the department that it went to? Oh, well, it went to this department. And I said, well, do you have a name? Well, yes. So I said, okay, fine. And I got the name of the person. And I said, could you do me one more favor, please? And just make sure that what was sent in the package is there. And the person responded to me like so crazy. Like, I'm sure that what it is that you sent, they will enjoy. That wasn't the reason. The reason why I asked that question is because there was stuff that was happening along the way that should not have ever taken place because the names were clear. Who it was from and to whom it was going to. So what was the problem? What was the problem? And you know what? I sent something that was reminiscent of, you know, childhood days. Everybody chewed, well, at times, bazooka bubble gum and a couple of other things. And what was so amazing is that when I went shopping, right, I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to get? What do you want me to do? Just to be a blessing. And he gave it to me. And I have no idea to this day, even though I got a response, I didn't call back and say anything. Because what I felt was there was an inception along the way. And perhaps, Pastor Taffy, you didn't get it. Or maybe you didn't get everything you were supposed to get that was inside the package. But I was told that a Mr. Bellamy had the package. Strange, I know a Bellamy too. I knew a Bellamy. I knew a mother Bellamy that went to TLC. But I never knew, if this is true, that her son might have been a member of World Changers in Atlanta. Would that be a coincidence? I don't know if it was him, but you have somebody there that was named Bellamy as well. But I thought it was just kind of crazy that I even sent what the package looked like in a picture. And somebody said, well, is that really kind of like necessary? Yeah. Especially when you don't get responses after so many years. And then if you call and you say, well, could you give me some information on this or that? And then you don't get a return phone call. So like, what is going on? And you've been through pastoral leadership. You've been through community groups. You've been in the choir, been in the prayer station, been on the praise team, been on the evangelistic outings and working with that. Oh my God. New members. What more? What more? I even lost a folder with one of my copyright forms in it. And I didn't get upset because I just felt I would get it back. I came and like I was at Bible study like all the time. And I just went and I didn't tell everybody what was in it, but I went to the community desk, communications desk, and I said, "Oh, can you, you know, tell me if anybody located blah blah blah?" And they were like, "Oh, well, we'll let you know, but right now, such and such." And I never heard another word even about that. But I wasn't worried because my name is on it, and chances are I have copies or something. Nobody said anything. Not one thing. But you don't own it. You can't have it. It's not yours. No matter how you slice it. And even if it was something that somebody claimed, why would it be that there would be no communication? If there was some kind of question about something, why not talk about it? Say something. Well, by the way, how do you know? Or something. But maybe it is that some people just didn't think that it was necessary. Maybe some people put a criteria or classification on the circumstance or situation that they felt warranted they're not, addressing the matter. But God is never wrong. And you know how he's never wrong? He's never wrong in how things kind of sort of play out. Because even the way that it looks like he might not be moving. But he knows all the ins and outs of everything that goes on. The hidden things and the seen things. He even knows the connotations that are, spelled out with each situation or circumstance. He knows. He knows if it looks this way, if it looks that way. He knows what it really is. And I know for a fact that I'm not the only one that never get or never got an answer. I said never gets, but I'm going to change that and say never got an answer. I'm going to say that. I know I'm not. But it's something that has to be looked into. Unless it is that what you're saying is that there's certain criteria that has to be met for somebody to get a verbal answer or even a written answer to something that they submitted at your communications table. What would the communications table be for other than communicating? And if there's no follow-up with it, then why do you have it? Is it that you get information but you can't give it back? Is it that you have people in positions and places that have the information but the criteria is they don't feel like it's worth it? So they just take it and sweep it under a rug or throw it in the garbage, or they take the idea as though it's something that they generated and established themselves and bring it to the forefront. And the next thing you know, you have all these things going on. But the people who actually put it together never even get credit or never even are addressed as this is something that this person brought to the communications desk. Lot to think about, right? So let's look at the psychology behind that. When we look at the psychology behind why people do what they do, could it be intimidation? Could it be that even this person that might have brought something to the communications desk, someone else looked at them and said, you know what? We have mutual friends. They may not know it. And I heard this or I heard that. So I think that I'm going to have this thing stop right here. Maybe there's lots of reasons. or I heard this, or I heard that, or she did this, or she did that. And we just, well, you know, he talked to this person, and she talked to that person, and they gave their take on the whole spin. And we don't feel like we want to validate or be a part of, or, but you know what? We can take that little plan and use it anyway. And what? And then, so intimidation is out, jealousy is out, love, peace, forward moving ministry is in. But I could truly see why some people just in today's world, and I mean not only today, even in the past, say I can't do church. I I can't. I can see why. Because sometimes it's just those little things. And then when you think about it, those little things are actually big things. Because the church always says that they're, you know, happy, you know, when people come and they have some ideas and anything to get the ministry moving. But why is it that some people some people just get twisted because somebody new came in and brought something to the forefront? It's not really where they would necessarily be moved out of their position or that anything would change, but people don't like change. They see change in a crazy kind of way. And it may not be that at all. Not at all. Some people have a love and a passion for ministry, and they're like, wow, let me just come. And you know, for somebody coming in new, some folks don't even know where they came from. They don't even know how far or how deep or how wide they were in ministry before they came to the new church. But they lay it all down. And they just start anew. Some people are upset because they have to start anew and they try to just come in and this and that. But some people, it's not even about a takeover. It's just that I have an idea. And I would like some time maybe to speak about it, if I could. You have no idea who's connected to who or what's connected to what. And maybe there are no connections. Maybe it's just the heartstring to see something happen. Maybe it was presented at another church and they just was busy on the dong dong, and as long as you in there mopping and sweeping and a cooking and a cleaning and a supporting and a giving and all of that, and nothing tangible coming out of it, but they prayed for you. So now you moved along and you bring something to the forefront again. So I can see sometimes, I can see there is some credibility or, you know, yeah, to why people have this feeling that they just can't do church. And then we have other people who go, you know what? Don't let that upset you. Keep going. You know, what are you going for? Who are you going for? Well, you're going because you want God. You want to hear what the word is. You want to hear him speak to your heart about certain things. And even those things that come across the pulpit, you still have to go to God and say, okay, God, I heard this. Talk to me about how what was said affects my life. Is there anything in that message that was truly you for me? Yeah. Not saying that you don't believe, because we believe in God and we believe that God can and will do anything and everything. But we still got to qualify it. Not to say that it was wrong, but God, what is the meaning of this word for my life? And there will be some things that will resonate in you, within you, that are like, yeah, I got that. I got that. But the study can't stop right there. The study cannot stop right there. And imagine that you've studied and you came with something and you presented it. And just because you don't wear a collar or you're not in the upper echelon of leadership, that there is no attention, to what it is that you've submitted, great or small. So, what does that mean? It's okay for me to be in the congregation and worship and praise and give honor to God and be amongst the other saints or churchgoers and congregants. But it's not okay for me or someone else to present something that's dear to our hearts that we could get just a simple response. So why would I want to place anything in your hands? Why would I want to counsel with you? Why would I want to talk to anybody? Why? And we let things go over time. So can we always say that it's just, they forgot? Could we say that? Oh, it's just, well, how often could that happen? And you just keep going with it. Then you have to qualify, well, why am I there? And somebody said, well, your mission is not there just to give something over at the communications desk, but you're there for God. Building up your own relationship with Him and then the corporate connection and the whole nine. But it's from the inside out. And I'm so glad to say today that from the inside out, if I didn't have that inside thing going on, I could be so crushed. And walked away. But let me tell you, I didn't walk away from God. I walked away from the building. From the inside out. Still moving forward. But there are lots of people that are not strengthened or as strong in that way. So when you've gone back and you've questioned, you've asked, and you don't get a response, it's not that you have to just immediately, you got to listen to what God is saying to you. Because He's never wrong. Sometimes we think things are supposed to play out in a certain way. But God has another thing in mind, completely different from what we would think the outcome is supposed to be. And sometimes the outcome is, remove. But we get so caught up in the church that we would never think that God would tell us to just go or it's time to leave. We just look at it as like, and we suck it in the whole nine. And for me, never again will I overstay my welcome. Never, ever, ever again. And I didn't overstay my welcome with this, but He had to show me some things. And not to say that my experiences were all bad. No, they weren't. But He got me to a place where from the inside out, and I was constantly building. He was constantly building all along for those years. There, over there, over there. And from the time that He foreknew me to get me to the place where I could sit here and talk to you. Some people say, well, this is an attempt at tearing down. No, it's luminosity. It's light. Because some things have to be addressed. Or some things, when they're not addressed, bring about some other repercussions or ramifications that can spread far and wide. And sometimes the people at the top don't even know. They don't even know what's going on and how far and how wide the rippling affects and effects have taken a toll on those who were members there. And not only members, but the extended family too. Just don't know. God is good. I always say this: good God, God good. Good God, God good. God good, good God. That's how I say it. And He is never wrong. Learning so much more about how He's never wrong. Not even standing in a position of, this is how I want it to be. No more. But standing in the position of, God, whatever it will be according to His will. And whatever it is that I need Him to be, He'll be that, because He already knows me. So, God, I need you to be a light with this. I did what you told me. I called the people. I didn't get a response. I was asking about the theater and whether or not they were renting or they were moving, and, if they were interested in this or that. Or I didn't hear from the pastoral class, trying to figure out what else. Somebody said we just needed to just go on and live. So I'm living, and here it is now, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. But then again, I already know that I have my title, I have my calling, and I got so much more. So there was no validation needed. I'm in the place to be, but I was before I became. And now this is me. And I'm not behind the church walls. Although I'm seeing more and more. And all in all, you're right there with me through it all. What's going to happen from now on when I answer the call? Ooh, it's up to you. It's up to you. You the true, true, true one through and through. You called on the phone. You called on the wall. You called late at night. You called in the stars bright. You called, God, you called. And I answered. And you said, I love you more. And I said, God, I love you, but you love me more than I could ever say that I love you. If I said I loved you more than you love me, it wouldn't be true. Because I can't fathom the depth, the height, or the width of your love. But what I could say through and through and all in all is that you true. Sibby said, you special. And I said, God, you special. And you throw it right back at me. And you said, you too. This is Elise signing out.